Hi! Well, in this video I decided to do a little bit of explaining how exactly I usually edit Lisp-based code. Usually people get like kinda weirded out for all these parentheses, so I'm going to try to explain a little bit better what exactly I usually do. So first things that you have to be aware is that Lisp is all based on these elements that we will call forms. I have also the key binding resolver here, so you can see what code it's actually running after my key bindings. So things that I usually do is I bind some key bindings for these commands, slurp forwards and barf forwards. They are not actually that good names of commands, but basically that's it is what it is. So for example, I am using Lisp paredit on the strict mode. The strict mode means that if I try to delete a parenthesis, it will not allow me to delete it. For example, I'm clicking delete here and it's not allowing me. And that is basically because the strict mode means the parenthesis will always be balanced and there's little ways to actually do it, allow it to not be unbalanced. For example, if I try to close a parenthesis here, it will not allow me because closing a parenthesis will make my editor get unbalanced. Okay, so first things first, what is slurp forwards? So suppose you have some comment, I don't know, maybe I have println, and then I decided that I want to print, I don't know, hello world. So here we are, and I want to get hello world inside the println. Slurp forwards basically injects this hello world into the parentheses. So, oh, sorry, wrong keystroke. So it basically do this. It injects the parentheses inside. And barf forwards is the opposite. So supposing I have, I don't know, some comparison, something like this, and inside this, if I want to remove the not equals, so barf forwards basically ejects the elements from the parentheses. And if you look at how Lisp paredit works, you will see that it actually keeps the editor balanced and also keeps the indentation correctly. So for example, suppose I have some special format that, I don't know, some function call, and then I have 1 here and 2 and 3. You will see that it basically also indents the code. But you can also force it to indent. So Lisp paredit have a function called indent that basically will offer the indentation for you. Usually this indentation will be correct. There are ways to configure it. Okay, so this is the first element that I like, this indentation stuff. And the barf forwards and slurp forwards. There are also slurp backwards and barf backwards. They are basically the same thing, but instead of injecting the next element, they will inject the previous element. I actually don't use them at all because I don't think like that. I usually think on elements that will come later in my code and not like previous things. Okay, so these are basically the two main elements that I use. Another element that I use is the function that it's called expand selection, if I am not mistaken. Exactly, expand selection basically expands my selection to the nearest element on the Lisp. So for example, in this case, it's expanding for the contents of the text. If I ask to expand again, it will expand to include the commas, the quotes, and again it keeps expanding up to the point that I get into the top block. After that there's nothing more to expand. And the same is true, for example, in this case it will first expand to 10, and then to what is inside the parenthesis, and then it will include the parenthesis, and then we will include the if, and then the if with parenthesis. And that's basically as far as it is. So that's another thing that I use a lot, because usually I want to delete, I don't know, some full element here, and I just select element and delete, and now it's gone. Another element that I use a lot is the navigation. So if you look at this, you'll see that the Lisp paredit, there's the up S-expression, and there's down S-expression, and there's also, I think, backward S-expression. So what is this? Is simple. Suppose I have, I don't know, some very complicated stuff. Let's just define a function here, and there are elements here, and then I have a let. I will explain what let is later. And then I have a plus that sums a plus b, and then multiplies a with b, and now I have a huge complicated stuff. So this function, these functions basically allow me to, supposing I am here I am basically inside the let, but I want to enter into the let. Instead of going to the process of clicking or moving my keyboard there, I just ask to go down to the X expression, and now I am inside the element that I want. And if I reverse the process, I go up to the top block again. Another thing is the next and previous X expression, because basically this allows me to move inside the S expression only, and as you can see I cannot exit here. So basically it's the next element. So I am always in the same level. Let's think like that. So for example, here I am inside the let, but I am not inside the plus, for example. So I know that the let exactly ends here, and as you can see it does. So that's another thing that I use a lot. And finally I use Lisp paredit together with parinfer, and parinfer is basically a huge help, especially on the mode that they call the smart mode. The smart mode is basically you infer your parentheses based on what you have on your indentation. So for example, supposing I have this let here, and and then I don't know, for some reason I put something here and say, oh wait, I want this to be inside the V. I could of course use the Lisp paredit, but I also can move my indentation there, and as you can see I am inside the square brackets, and if I move back you will see that it also inferred parentheses from me. And that's actually really good, because you can move things like put a space here, and the smart mode is what basically moves everything to the right indentation and back again. It's not perfect, but it works most of the time. So with these tools you basically are able to edit Lisp easier than basically just trying to put the parentheses in the right positions and everything else. If you are not familiar with Lisp, I actually recommend you to disable the strict mode, and to do that there's a command Lisp paredit toggle. If I am not mistaken, it's toggle strict. So by this paredit will allow you to have unbalanced parentheses, which is good. If you are not familiar, you can basically close parentheses by hand and so on and so forth. And if you have Lisp paredit, it will probably allow you to get the right indentation level and infer the things for you. One problem with Lisp paredit is that there are some elements, like for example, this is a valid Clojure code, let's call it a function, and here your code must be in this level, otherwise the parinfer will not allow this kind of indentation to exist. But if you look at basically the level of some Clojure code that's on the wild, you will see that it's indented like this. And Parainfer is wrongly trying to match the squared brackets to the body of the function. So let me disable Parainfer here. So it's now disabled. And as you can see, now it works. And one of the things that a Parainfer allows you is that if you open a file like this, it will actually ask you if you want to change the indentation. So it will tell you that you must change the indentation of your file so that you can use Parainfer. And if you ask to continue, then it will do this. So basically it will not like break your code without your authorization. And that's it for today. Hope that's it for this video at least. Hope you like it.